Oh, I say.
The unforgettable June Brown, loved by millions of us as Dot Cotton. We remember the EastEnders legend in the company of her on-screen son, Nasty Nick. Of course, he's anything but in real life. Actor John Altman will be here live just after 8 o'clock.
Tributes have been paid to the actress June Brown, known to many as the chain-smoking washerwoman Dot Cotton in EastEnders. She began in the soap in 1985, later famously earning herself a BAFTA nomination for a landmark episode which saw her deliver the whole episode alone. She died at the age of 95. And we'll be speaking to her friend and on-screen son, John Altman, after 8 o'clock. Back to you.
Talking of looking forward to interviews,
Yeah.
Judy and I interviewed June lots of times over the years,
Yeah.
on This Morning and then later at Channel 4, probably about half a dozen times. And it was one of those interviews, when you saw that she was on the running order of the show, your heart lifted a bit, because you knew you'd have a laugh. She was so funny.
So
witty.
funny, so clever, such a brilliant actress, and already so many messages from you about how sad you are at her passing. But we're going to celebrate her
She's at our
too.
nativity. She's at our Christmas nativity on the show.
That's a good sense of humour in itself, isn't it? What did she play in your nativity?
No, she was just as a guest. I think she was there to maybe to judge the best dressed shepherd. I don't know, but oh, bless her, bless her. Look at her.
Fabulous, really, really lovely, and we will be celebrating her and talking about how much you're all going to miss her a little bit later on as well.
Look, not a dry eye in millions and millions of living rooms and TV lounges last night as EastEnders paid a terrific tribute to June Brown, the late June Brown. It was wonderful, wasn't it, Vic?
It really was, it really was. I mean, the legend that was June Brown, of course, played Dot Cotton for more than 3 decades on EastEnders, so it was only fitting that the BBC soap honoured her last night. June passed away over the weekend, aged 95. She made her debut appearance in 1985 on the show's 40th episode, when it was still just in its infancy. Her last ever appearance as Dot was in 2020 in the 6,065th episode. And as the end credits rolled, a tribute to June appeared, with fans taking to Twitter to admit they were left sobbing. The BBC then amended their Monday evening schedule to honour the actress by airing the 2017 special, June Brown, a Walford legend, made 5 years ago to mark the veteran star's 90th birthday. In it, she was surprised by John Altman, who played her on-screen son, Nasty Nick, and she shared a sweet story about getting her EastEnders role.
May the 31st, and I'd had my horoscope done, and he'd said that on a certain date, when this happened to that, when certain planet, Saturn, reached my midheaven, I would have a spectacular success. And that was May the 31st, and that was the first day I was in EastEnders. It's amazing.
Stay tuned, as John will be on the show to remember June later this morning. Meanwhile, tributes have continued to pour in from her other EastEnders co-stars, with Adam Woodyard, aka Ian Beale, of course, saying, "I am lost for words," something June never was. So many memories, so much fun. They never made you a dame, we did try, but to me, you will always be Dame Brown. Former co-star Patsy Palmer said, "Oh, June, I honestly thought you would be here forever. You are EastEnders," referencing their late co-star Barbara Windsor. She added, "Barbara is surely waiting for you to take care of you up there." Stephen Fry also honoured her, tweeting, "Amongst all her other wonderful human qualities and achievements, she will be remembered as a tireless and fearless LGBT ally, especially during the darkest days." And who could forget June's bond with Lady Gaga, who once, of course, invited her clubbing after they met on The Graham Norton Show, where the unlikely double act caused havoc.
I want to know what those jeans are.
Boring. I am quite healthy, you're all right. Anyway, these chaps, you see, I mean, Matt, he really thinks you're something. And the idea of you and me together was to him wonderful. Well, you're not. June. I'm so sorry, I'm ignoring
Leave her alone, she's a star!
Leave her alone, she's a star! And she was. There's a little fun fact, actually, I've got for you. Before she cemented her roots in Albert Square in her 50s, June was actually part of another iconic British soap. Do you know which one it was?
No, I actually don't.
I don't know that. I should do, but I don't.
It's not Emmerdale. It's not Hollyoaks, but
No.
Yeah,
She was in the street.
really?
She was.
know that.
None other than
Better.
EastEnders rival. Yeah, I do. ITV's very own Coronation Street. She actually appeared on the couples way back in 1970 in one of her first TV roles as Mrs. Parsons. Take a look at this.
You've no idea where Mrs. Sharples might be, have you, Miss Nugent?
Would you like us to go and look for her?
I think we'll have to. There isn't much time. You see, well, Tony owes a lot to Mrs. Sharples. Both of us do. And Tony's got this surprise for her. The only trouble is that we've left it rather late. And if we don't get hold of her within the next couple of hours, everything will be ruined.
Pre-colour as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny, that reference in
Not
your...
an EastEnder there, is she? That's the proof of the actress.
That reference in your report there to the lovely the late Barbara Windsor sort of waiting at the pearly gates
Yeah,
to
you
welcome
can
you. I just had
imagine
this, well, I hadn't thought of that. I just had this image of Barbara Windsor up there saying, "Come into my pub."
Yeah.
You know? Just see that moment.
You
It's
can
a
imagine
lovely
it.
thought, isn't it? It's a lovely
really is.
thought.
Well, we are remembering June Brown.
Absolutely.
A true British icon.
Well, she was one of TV's most iconic characters. June Brown will forever be remembered as the chain-smoking laundrette boss, Dot Cotton, who we love so dearly. And she played her, of course, for 35 years.
Well, as you know, tributes have just been pouring in for the EastEnders actress who died at the age of 95. We're going to be talking to John Altman, who, of course, played her on-screen son, Nasty Nick. But before that, let's have a quick look at some of their most memorable moments together.
Hello, Ma. I'm your son.
No, you're not my son. You're not the son I wanted. I wanted a son I could be proud of, and what did I get? A drug addict, a thief, a murderer. I ain't got a cheek left to turn. I ain't got a tear left to shed.
No one cries over people like him. Ah. Well, well, well.
See you in the morning.
Well, John, who played Nick Cotton, Nasty Nick, who's far from it in real life, joins us now. Good to see. What is it like seeing those scenes? I'm sure they're burnt into your memories and mind anyway, but it's strange to see it knowing that she's no longer with us, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. Treasured moments for me in my career. Such a joy to work with her. She was older than me, so she was more experienced, so she'd guide me sometimes. She'd say, "Slow down a bit on that, dear," you know. And we used to meet, you know what soaps are like. You go in and you kind of, you know, it's pretty fast compared to a movie.
Yeah.
So we would go in early, and when I used to smoke, we'd go in her dressing room and spend an hour having a coffee and a few ciggies, just going over and over it. So when we got on the floor, we were right on it, you know.
When did you last see her? When did you last see her?
It was probably about a month ago, yeah.
And how was she?
She was tired, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like my own mother. I think you could see she'd slowed right down. And I would like to say that's so much thanks and God bless her family who've been fantastic, rallying around her, Nim and Lou and all the rest of the family. They've taken great care of her. She didn't have to go into a home or anything, so
Excellent.
She spent her last days in her lovely home in the Surrey Hills there.
Which is lovely.
I was going to ask you, you sort of prefaced it with your opening remarks there, about working with someone like that on absolutely pivotal scenes in a soap like EastEnders, when EastEnders was even bigger than it is now. I mean, it was absolutely massive, you know. And you say that you used to spend an hour or so in the dressing room together, not just presumably going through the lines together and running the scene, but discussing it, almost like two directors, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we knew the characters so well, and so many different writers, occasionally things that wouldn't be quite right, you know, like...
Right.
Would you mind putting the kettle on, Mother? You know, Nick wouldn't say, "Bung the kettle on, Ma." You know,
Yeah.
you know, so things like that. And June was a real stickler for the script being right, you know.
And when you'd finished shooting a scene that you'd spent so long in private preparing for, the scenes, for example, that we showed there, what did you do? High five? You know, what was the mood like once it was and cut?
Well, I mean, the last scene we did together was a very emotional affair, and the floor manager said, I swore I'd never shed a tear on the floor, you know, hardened production people, you know.
Yeah.
But she said, but I did today.
Wow.
That was the last, after 35 years together, June and I,
Timeless-
on and off, you know.
Timeless
I mean, she
question
was
to you.
so beloved as Dot Cotton, wasn't she? And in most people's minds, that was the iconic role that she played,
Yes.
although had played many others as well. How different was June Brown to Dot Cotton?
Yeah.
Good question. I would say June Brown was, what can I say, in a higher class, better spoken. You might have seen in some interviews, she's got a beautiful voice, very well spoken, dressed well, not dowdy in any way, very smart lady. So, yeah, more upper middle class than working class, I guess I should say.
I heard someone on the breakfast radio show I listened to coming in this morning saying that they remember being a schoolgirl at the time of Dot Cotton's absolute reign supreme on EastEnders. And they saw June making a visit to a friend of hers in the next street, and there were a bunch of these schoolgirls at the bus stop, and they went mad. They went absolutely mad. And she said that June's reaction was lovely. She waved at them, she offered autographs, all that kind of thing. How did she wear her fame? Because it was massive. She was a household name very quickly.
Oh, she embraced it, because she'd been in the business quite a long time. And I used to tell her off, I said, June, you can't do any more charities. She said, oh dear, I have to. You know, 'cause she supported the donkeys, amongst many others, you know, children with cancer, the Taverners, etc. So, yeah, she just couldn't say no to charity requests.
Did she enjoy being famous?
I think so, yeah, because she's a very sociable lady, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, when we'd finished to see our morning scenes, we'd walk to the canteen at the BBC, and it would always take about half an hour, because she'd stop along the way, chatting to people, chatty away, and just amazing memories. And she's so kind. She used to say healing prayers, actually. But yeah, she was quite spiritual. I mean, she didn't go to church as far as I can remember, but she definitely believed in, say, a higher power. You know, something more than we know, perhaps. Something that a lot of religions are based on, perhaps.
No names and no pectoral, but over the years I've interviewed soap stars who will admit privately to loathing the characters that they play. Absolutely loathe them. I'm sure you have colleagues who feel the same. What did she think of Dot?
Oh, I think she probably just. You could have felt quite sorry for her, probably. I don't know. Like myself with Nick, I think you have to love your character to a certain extent. That's how I feel as an actor, anyway. And I think probably there was something that some kind of magic was created between the two of us, with the writing and things we put in.
Yes.
I mean, I put little things in, like the way Nick smoked a cigarette, you know.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Little gestures like that. People used to come up and do it to me, you know. And of course, how's your ma? You know, so many people would say that wherever even to this day, you know. And yeah, so it's
and the comedy as well between the two.
Yes,
yeah,
there
was a lot of fun and laughter that you felt the audience was part of. Us as viewers were part of a slight in-joke almost, which was a gift actually for the soap.
Yeah, we were a good team, definitely. Yeah.
What will you miss most about her?
She's a dear friend, someone I could confide in,
really?
And probably my second mother, really. My real mother said she looked more like my mother than she did. So casting-wise, you can't beat that. I have to say that June also had a great knowledge, like a taxi driver, because she had to drive herself from Surrey all the way up to Boreham Wood and back for years, for ages. And one time I drove her home after a charity we'd done at the studio, and she said, right, dear, turn left there, turn right there, go down there, go down, right round there. And she was extraordinary. She knew all these back roads because she'd driven so much.
Huh? She'd done the knowledge.
Yeah, and she told me off. She used to tell me off sometimes. When I gave up smoking, I was quite grouchy, and she said, "Oh dear, I think you should go back on them. You're so grumpy," you know. And but anyway, yeah, I managed to stop, which was good in the.
Well, it's lovely to talk to you about her, and I do like what you said there, that you could confide in her, because that's one of the great gifts of friendship, isn't it? You've got someone that you can really tell everything to. That's special. Yeah, it's great to talk to you.
She'll be missed.
Thank you very much.
Good to talk to you.